we've got the Nighthaunt book. The new Nighthaunt book. So the Nighthaunt have a lot of character options to choose from. You've got Nagash, you've got Lady Oleander. I know Kudros is getting a lot of praise as well. He was already a beatstick before. He's arguably even better. But honestly, my favorite character is still the Knight of Shrouds. I really like the Knight of Shrouds for a couple of different reasons. One, 4-up save, which is unmodifiable because he's ethereal. I like the version on the mount better because he can fly, he moves faster, he goes 12 inches as opposed to 8 inches. He's got the bigger base, which you can combo with one of the magic items later to get where you need him to go. Also, he's just got a lot of attacks. 5 attacks base, which are hitting on and winning on 3s with his sword. The Sword of Stolen Hours, which is basically the same thing from previous editions. He's also still got the horse. But he's got a new ability called Lord of Geist, and this one allows you to do an all-out attack without spending the command point, which is really nice, especially with all of those ghosty ghosts running around. Just a really solid character, really fun unit to use. Another unit that got a pretty big rework are the Chain Rasps. Now these are your standard, spooky ghost unit. Like, this is a very popular unit. They were already arguably some of the best death troops around. They still have the same basic profile. They have a 1-inch range attack with 2 attacks still, so that's really good. 4s and 4s, no rend, 1 damage. Nothing to write home about, except they have a new ability called Chilling Horde. You add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by this unit the same turn that they charged. So when they get a charge, they get +1 wounds. Now they're 4s to hit, 3s to wound. It's pretty good, especially with all the other combos in the book to buff to hit and wound rolls. My favorite combo in the book is actually a classic one from the previous version, which is equipping the Slitter on your Knight of Shrouds, preferably on the mount. Again, with that bigger base, it's only got a 1-inch range, but it kind of works the same. You pick an enemy model and within 1 inches of the bearer, and basically roll, and if you roll greater than their wounds characteristic, take them out immediately. Why is this so important? Well, unit coherency. You can snipe a particular model out, breaking the chain, messing up their unit coherency, and possibly taking out half of a unit with a quick snip with a Slitter. So, like that character, he's also, the Knight of Shrouds is also a generic character as opposed to a named character, so you can actually equip him with that stuff. So again, it's a simple combo, it's from the previous edition, and it's still in this one, and I really like it. So there's a lot of changes to the army fundamentally in the new edition. What's still the same is the ethereal. You can't modify their armor save up or down anymore, but it's also changed to give them a 6-up ward save. So previously, you'd have to have a hero nearby to give them basically the Feel No Pain save. That's been completely erased and removed. It's now just a 6-up ward as part of the ethereal rule. But perhaps more importantly, Nighthaunt units can retreat and still charge in the same turn. So this is pretty big because most of the units have fly, so you can get in behind units, you can do a bunch of janky stuff with it. So it's pretty cool stuff for the ethereal rule. The army also has the Aura of Dread now, so if a enemy unit is within 3 inches, they are terrified, and that means that enemy unit cannot receive the Inspiring Presence, so Battle Shock will actually matter when you're scaring the pants off of the enemy. You also have a new ability army-wide called Wave of Terror. This kind of replaces the old version. The old version was kind of a crapshoot. You would try to roll on the charge. If you got a 10 or more, they would get to swing immediately, which is really cool, but it felt like you were playing slot machines because you're just pulling the crank and hoping you're rolling really high. This new version is a bit more stable and a bit more predictable. Maybe not quite as good because like swinging out of turn had its own benefits, but this is a bit cleaner, more simplified, and more reliable. It has 3 different things. When you roll your charge, one of the 3 effects will happen. If you roll really high, you can choose one of the previous versions. As far as I can read, the effects do stack with each other, so you can have a Shriek effect, a Stun effect, and Petrify effect on a unit. What I'm a little curious about, and I need to double check the rule on, is if you can stack multiple Shrieks or multiple Stuns on the same unit. And I think you can, but I want to double check that, so don't quote me on that yet. But it'd be really cool if you could. Another big thing that changed is they have a new ability, Frightful Touch, which is just unmodified hit rolls of 6 by friendly Nighthaunts, auto wound. So yeah, you don't make a wound roll, just auto wound, which is pretty spicy if you just fishing for 6s, which is nice. So pretty cool stuff. For the allegiance abilities, big changes across the board, and it definitely makes them play like a different army than before. How are these guys going to fare in the meta is a tough question. It's a new book, which is always a boost in the meta. The previous book was also fairly dated at this point. It was one of the earlier Age of Sigmar 2.0 books, so it was showing its age. This is going to be a big help in the meta for this army. I'm curious to see how it's going to roll out as the edition grows and we get more and more Battletomes. I think they are going to be poised to be solid, like solid B, C, like C or B tier. I don't think they're going to be like top dogs, but they're definitely going to be competitive for just of all the ways that they've changed the book around. Compared to the old book, this book is way better. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This book is going to be way better than the old version, with all the new processions that you get to play around with all the new rules and updates and everything like this. This feels like a 3.0 Battletome. It's a better book. It's better written rules-wise, and again, I'm just really excited to see what the Nighthaunts can do. I still got to get in here and rebuild my army. I haven't even messed around with that yet, but I am looking forward to it. I like the changes in this. I think they're going to be a lot more competitive and a lot more fun to play, and we'll actually be able to keep up this edition. So, yeah, I think they're going to be middle of the pack in the long run. Maybe I'm saying that as a Nighthaunt player. I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much. I think there are going to be still some powerful builds. I know Nagash is looking real good in there. Kudros is looking cool. I definitely want to play that. The Black Coach looks like a lot of fun too. I've been burned before. And having played this army, it was like the army that got me into Age of Sigmar, and then suffering through that for a while. I was having fun, don't get me wrong. I think this is a fun army to play. It's definitely one of those armies that in the meta, when you show up with this army, nobody's going to roll their eyes and be like, oh, great, these guys. For me, it's always been a really fun time. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how they actually do end up performing. I can't wait to get in here with the old math hammer out and start crunching some numbers too, because I do think they have some potential to be fairly scary, no pun intended. Hey, if you picked up the Nighthaunt book and maybe the Arena Shades and you're curious about those Daughters of Cain, check out this video on your screen. I'm Adam Air from Bowls. See you next time. It's a spooky ghost. It's so spooky, man.
No,
spooky.
I'll have the audio.